I think most people would love to be able to be comfortable in their kitchen, cook lovely meals, be a little bit creative, and not spend hours and hours doing it at the same time. And yet, what I'm going to tell you might seem a little bit strange, because what we never think about when we're trying to be better cooks, better chefs, better entertainers, is the relationship that we have or we don't have with our kitchen, with the kitchen itself. And after teaching cooking to hundreds of students and spending years in the kitchens in Italy, I can tell you the honest truth. You don't need another recipe. You might not need another baking utensil, I'm not sure. You don't need to watch another cooking show or take another class, because even before starting cooking at all, you need to look around and think about the relationship that you have with your kitchen. I opened my kitchen up for 3 years on Saturday mornings to students who wanted to learn how to cook more like Italians do, cook more healthful foods, and enjoy the camaraderie of being together and having a glass of wine at the end of the class and enjoying the food we made. And that was all wonderful. We had a blast in the kitchen. We tried new recipes, we enjoyed ourselves. People said, I'm going to go home and make this for my family or make this for myself. But I started to notice a pattern, and that pattern is that progress would just stall. And I can almost guarantee it's because when they went back home to their kitchen, the kitchen itself wasn't ready. It was kind of sad, because they would leave and be very enthusiastic about what they were going to do and enjoyed themselves. But if you don't have your kitchen set up in such a way that you have good ingredients, fresh ingredients, if you're somewhat organized, don't have to be crazy organized, but somewhat organized, the kitchen becomes just a chore. Cooking becomes a chore. You just don't want to do it. It's not enjoyable. And I've been in kitchens of people's homes where olive oil is 2 years old and probably rancid. Spices are old and don't really have the taste at all that they would hope to deliver for a recipe. Plastic bags of food that have been cut open and ingredients falling out onto the cabinet shelving and making a mess, and not knowing where ingredients are, or if you have enough oatmeal or nuts or grains, or things are no longer fresh or rotated. If you really want an efficient way of cooking and baking, a system pays off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you down into my kitchen, and I'm going to take some video and show you how I have systematized things so that it's easy to work with, enjoyable to be around, and really doesn't take all that extra energy. I'll be back in my kitchen in just a second. Okay, I'm walking into my kitchen now, and probably the first thing you're going to see is this ginormous collection of wine. We do entertain a lot, and my husband does like to have a glass of wine at night, and so there it is on the kitchen counter. And I'm going to take you first to this cabinet that has my olive oil and tomatoes and balsamic vinegars in here. These are staples of the kitchen. So I have a white label and a black label of high polyphenol olive oil that's very good for you. That's always fresh, and we get the fresh harvest. And I keep it here so that I know it stays cool. I close the cabinet. The cabinet stays nice and dark, and I know just when I need another bottle. Then on the top here are some tomatoes, and they go all the way back in the cabinet. We have the canned ones. We have crushed ones. We use San Marzano tomatoes for making pasta sauce. And then you'll notice over on the right, there are quart jars of our own pasta sauce that we make. And I keep everything pretty minimal so that I know when I need to replenish them, or if I have a big, huge inventory, like we'll make 12 jars of pasta sauce at a time. I keep the rest in the basement where it's cool. So I'm going to move on from here. I'm going to pass my oven range and go into my cabinet here, which you'll notice everything is very basic. So these are my spices, and it's just on a little cheap spice rack that rotates. And I keep things in here that everything in glass as much as I can so that I know when I need to replenish, such as this, the oregano. It's getting low, so I'm going to need to go find some more good organic oregano. And then crushed red pepper and all the other spices that we may need. Along over here is the Himalayan salt and peppercorns that we grind fresh as we use them. Up above on this cabinet is the place where I keep canned beans. And I do use canned beans. They work out well for me. I don't have a lot of time to soak them, or I don't think about soaking them a lot, but they're always available and ready for me. And then even popcorn can be good for you, so I keep this heirloom popcorn on hand, and it makes a wonderful, wonderful snack. I make it with just a little bit of the olive oil, and it's very, very good. So I'm going to move down here onto the countertop, where I try to keep some ingredients out and keep them at eye level, because it tells me that they're available for use and it encourages me to use them. And I keep them on my beautiful blue dishes just to make the room look so inviting. And these beautiful blue dishes were purchased in Italy, in a little town on the coast. This is what they look like with the lemons. But it's all, we eat with our eyes sometimes, it's just as much as the flavor and what it looks like. So those are the things I keep out. I also keep a few tomatoes out at a time. Here they are on this little dish over here. So the idea is to keep it inviting, to enjoy it, to make your kitchen a beautiful place of healing and delicious foods. The last cabinet that I'm going to cover here in this video is this one here, which is very, very nice to keep organized. Even just plain, very expensive canning jars. I also use some jars from Italy. They're called Quattro Stagioni, the 4 seasons, that you can keep things in, like as you can see, oatmeal, walnuts, hemp seed, filberts, pine nuts. Up on the top I have grains. Up on the top I have whole grain rice. I have, next is flax, and then some almonds and some raw cacao. You could use cocoa just as well, cocoa nibs, and then some chickpea flour there. So this is what keeps the kitchen so organized. When things, again, are in glass, you can see where you're getting low. I'm getting low on pine nuts. So I know the next time I go to this grocery store, I will get them and then replenish. And then I'm not too bad on oatmeal right now, but almonds could use some replenishing as well. So this is how you make your kitchen. You have a relationship with your kitchen. You come into it and it's a place of healing. I always say it should be an apothecary of healing, not just a place to store foods. So I hope you have found this interesting and helpful to you, more than interesting, helpful on some of the things that you can do in your kitchen to make your cooking adventures even more of an adventure. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed it, the tour of my kitchen. Maybe you enjoyed a cup of tea while you were watching. And for my subscribers, thank you for subscribing. If you aren't a subscriber, please do so. Also, I'll put in the description below the link for the olive oil that I buy. It's really a wonderful product for your longevity, for your health. Very hard to find. It comes directly from Italy to you. So thank you again, and I'll do another video which will be a follow-up, and that'll be about pots and pans.